Well, once again it's raining, and short of going onto the Canva Facebook page and asking if the trails are open, the only thing we can do is do some video editing earlier in the week than we normally do. So with that, hey Dirt Crew! Today we're reviewing the Bedford Reservation in the Cleveland Metroparks. Now we actually filmed this a few weeks ago, and I'm gonna admit, I've been struggling with how I want to rate and present this trail system. The important thing for most trails is telling a story, and the story here is that it's not bad, and in fact you'll see it gets pretty average marks, but where I'm struggling with this is that it's just kinda average. Now to pull back the veil on the YouTube algorithm, our last video did really well, and part of that was due to combination of things: the complexity of the trail, there being some crashes and drama, people wanting to see other people failing, aka me, but it's simply just a well-known trail with a rich history, so the name of Vulture's Knob will get viewers. Bedford Reservation is not that, and while it's one of the older trails in the Metropark system, to me it feels like a good backup plan. It's where I go if I don't want to drive far, it's late in the day, and some of the more fun trails are closed. Now, one of the things that you strive for when starting out as a content creator is being shown to a wider audience through the recommended video function. And with that, you generally want flashy thumbnails, people watching the entire video because they're invested in the story you're telling, and lots of engagement. So taking a second to like, comment, and subscribe, because that helps us out a lot. So with that, I'm going to show you some of the more exciting parts of this trail. Generally when we ride here, we hit the entire system, meaning it's about 16 miles in total. I'm going to be doing this in the quicker montage fashion that I've done in the last couple of videos, and then giving a feedback on the trail. Now, one thing to note here is that this trail gets dark fast. The trail system is in a bit of a valley, and the trees are so thick that as soon as the sun gets near the horizon, you pretty much lose all visibility. This is also the hardest part of the trail, called Touchstone, which, in retrospect, we probably should have started with. So with all of that out of the way, let's get to the dirty scale. The dirty scale rates a trail from 1 to 5 in 5 key metrics, which determine how fun a trail is based off a person's individual riding preferences. Now, being lower on the scale is not necessarily a bad thing, such as in difficulty, where an inexperienced or newer rider may prefer an easy to moderate trail to practice and refine their technique without getting frustrated or putting themselves at unnecessary risk at a more difficult trail. With that being said, we're going to start with difficulty, or how challenging the trail is, and what are the minimum and maximum skill levels to ride all of the features of this trail. Well, as you guessed, this is a pretty easy trail system, and it's coming in at a 2 out of 5. For the most part, these feel like walking paths that have a few extra parts added to help you along. While Touchstone is a bit more challenging, and I'd maybe put that around a 3 or so, 14 out of 16 of the miles I'd give a 1.5, so we're going to average it out to a 2. This is a long trail system, and the only real difficulty is seeing how far you can go. Next is ingenuity, or how well did the trail build around the natural terrain and geology? Does it have unique features, and what sets it apart from other trails? Here we give the trail a 3 out of 5. The trail system does have some beautiful things to see, with multiple waterfalls, changing biomes, and thick, lush forest. What holds this trail back, though, is it's not particularly unique beyond the visual appeal, and it's not challenging, nor does it have optional features. It's just a good, clean ride. Now, rideability, or the feel and flow of the trail. Here we're going to give this trail its highest mark at a 4 out of 5. This trail rides extremely fast, and there's not a ton of elevation gain or loss, with a couple notable exceptions. Nor is it particularly windy. I find myself pumping hard on this trail, and average about 13 miles an hour, and about 15 miles an hour when all is said and done, since a significant portion is along the road and the all-purpose trail. If nothing else, this trail is an excellent grind for the days that you just want to go a little bit further. Now, it should not surprise you that for trail features, or the variety and the amount of skill challenges along a trail system, that this gets a 1.5 out of 5. With very few exceptions, this is just your standard single track with some roots and drainage thrown in. There's almost no jumps, very few rocks, and a couple of wooden bridges, but really nothing that would pose much of a challenge for your beginner rider. Now, if you have a keen eye and are willing to repeat and session certain sections, you can find 2 jumps in the entire system, but you need to work for them. This is a good learning trail and a good trail for cardio. Now, lastly, for yielding, or how well known a trail is and how much you need to stop and encountering other people on the trail, we're going to give this another 1.5. There are a couple of intersections where trails cross, and you end up on the all-purpose trail many times, potentially interacting with walkers, hikers, and road cyclists. Now, overall, like I said in the beginning, this is about as average of a trail as you can get. There's no frills here, but I'm glad to have this trail, and I've done some trail days here as well. It's just a few minutes from my house, and when I need to sweat, this is the place I go. With that, I'm giving this a 2.5 out of 5. Thanks for watching. Let's go get dirty.